Hello, I'm Guru Scott. On this video, we're going to be doing a 10,000 mile oil change on our Volkswagen Passat. This applies to models 2012 to 2016 Passat, the B7 NMS generation. It has a 1.8T Gen 3 TSI engine, and this also applies to the Jetta, the Golf, and the Beetle that has the same engine. And so here's what the engine looks like. We're going to end up pulling this cover that we installed ourselves off. This cover here, it just pulls up, and that'll allow us to get to the oil filter housing. But first, we're going to get underneath, and I'm going to show you how we have it set up so that we can get underneath and pull off the big plastic cover so we can get to the drain plug. Before we show you the materials that we need to use for this job, we want to talk about safety for a minute. You need to have the car in a safe fashion before you can work underneath it. So we have some mini ramps that we drove it up on, and in the rear we have chocks on the rear tires, both sets. And then also I'll be wearing safety glasses throughout this video. So just a reminder to be safe, and here in a second we're going to show you what tools you need to get started. Okay, to do this job you're going to need some Torx drivers, a set like this, which has some of the larger sizes, and that's to get the drain plug out, and you'll need a torque wrench to put it back in. You're going to need a new oil filter. This is Volkswagen part number 06L115562. And I also have the drain plug gasket, a brand new one here. It's one of those crush types. And then you'll need some oil that meets Volkswagen specs. This Castrol Edge Syntec SAE 5W40 meets all of their specifications for this particular model. And you'll need gloves, torque wrench, and a few other things. So we're going to get started here in a second and show you what to do first. This is the lower splash shield that helps protect the engine and underneath that area. And we didn't show you how to pull it off because it's very tight quarters getting underneath there. But basically you take out these 3 rear bolts, which are Loctited, and those are T45s. And then along the sides you take out these T25s, like self-tapping screws, and then pull the whole thing backwards and it comes right out. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It has some little tabs in the front where it fits up into where it's supposed to go, and then of course these all get tightened. And when we put them back in, we'll use Loctite. Looking from the rear of the car forward, this is the drain plug at the oil pan. So that's a T45, and you're going to break it loose and then let all the oil drain. And to facilitate that, you may want to open up the oil filler cap to let air in, and even take out the dipstick if you so wish, and get all the oil flushed out, and then we'll show you what to do next. Here's the drain plug with a new gasket on it we're getting ready to install. About 22 foot-pounds or 30 Newton meters of torque, and that gasket will deform and will be solidly in there. So we're going to get that installed and we'll be right back. I've reinstalled the drain plug, and now I'm ready to go ahead and pull this filter housing off and change the filter out. So you're just going to simply pop this up. It sticks on these little bolts here that have the little head on them, ball head. And then we're going to take this loose. And now this is a plastic housing that covers the filter. So I'm going to wipe it off real quick, and then I'm actually going to use a crescent wrench to take it off. The reason being is the torque setting on this is very low. So to use a torque wrench on it, you have to have a very special low torque reading tool that I don't have with me at the moment. And so what I did is I put a mark here that lines up with the silver mark here. So I know about how tight to put it. I've already changed this oil twice before 10,000. I changed it at 2,000 and 6,000 because I think 10,000 miles spec is too lengthy of a time between oil changes. Anyway, so I'm going to take this loose here in a second. After I clean it off, I'll show you that. I loosened this a half turn with my crescent wrench, and now I'm going to turn it by hand. And it just comes off. And I put some paper towels around it because it's going to drip a little bit. And with the new filter, Volkswagen gives you a new O-ring that goes on this. So comes out like this and drips all over. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to go put it over somewhere where I can drip oil, and take the old filter out. It just pulls out this way. Change the O-ring and get this all cleaned up, and I'll come right back. Okay, I pulled the old filter straight up and out and threw it away. It's pretty oily, so it's kind of a mess. You'll see there's two O-rings here. These don't get changed every oil change, but the O-ring that's right here does get changed every oil change, and it comes with the new filter. So use a plastic tool like this to get it off. You don't want to use a metal screwdriver or something metal because it'll scratch the O-ring surface. So comes with a new one. I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on it first, and then I'm going to install it. I have the new filter here ready to install. It's just going to simply slide over, but it does push down to seat to seal. So you'll see that it's the same on each side. Looks like it's probably a MON HU6002 filter because it's made by MON for Volkswagen. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and slip it over, push it all the way down, and then seat it all the way like that. And now I'm ready to reinstall it. So I'm going to take it over to the car now and install it back on there. So I'm ready to reinstall this here. I have the new O-ring on it, and I've pre-oiled it so that it's got a little bit of lubrication on it. You just simply feed it down in there and start screwing it on by hand, and it should go in quite easily. Make sure you don't cross thread. And then I'm going to snug it up with, in this case, my crescent wrench until I have the mark in the correct place, which I will do this and I'll come back to you in a second. Actually, there it is, hand tight. So just got to turn it a little past hand tight, barely. See that my mark's now aligned. So I'm good to go. Put this cover back on here, and then we're going to fill it up with oil. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Okay, I'm ready to put my oil in. The oil filler area is back here. It overflows kind of easily, so you have to be careful and use a funnel like this and pour it slowly. So I'm going to put 6 quarts in, pouring them very slowly, and I'll get that done. And then I'll come back and we will review what we did, and I'll tell you what's next. All right, we put the oil cap back on after we put in about a little over 5.5 quarts. We held the rest back temporarily so that we can start the engine and see where it settles at. It's better to underfill it than overfill it, and we want to get it, of course, exactly to the full line. So what we're going to do at this time is start the engine, and then we're going to record in the maintenance log the date, the mileage, and what we did, what items we used to show that we fulfilled the Volkswagen warranty. And then, like I said, we're going to start it, run it for a little while, make sure there's no leaks either here or underneath. And then we'll come back and top up the oil, and we'll also install the lower protective panel. So we'll get all that done, we'll come back and show you what's going on. Okay, at this point we've got everything put back together, the bottom protective plate on, tightened up. We put Loctite on the rear, 3 bolts that go on there. Everything is leak tight. We checked it. We ended up putting about 5.8 quarts total in because it comes up to the full mark with 5.8 quarts. And that's all there is to this video. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.